What's up, guys? How's it going? It is Matt here. So today we're going to be talking about kind of an important topic. I think for a lot of gun owners out there, for parents out there, this is a really important topic for people. So we're going to be talking a little bit about firearm safety and children and firearm safety. So it's kind of kind of important. Definitely kind of important. Right now it's actually spring break. My kids are home, so you might hear them running around in the background. My daughter's keeping an eye on them while I do a video. But I was watching a video last night. It's actually a movie I was watching last night. It was called Wind River. I think it was Wind River. And basically, one part of it, it was actually a really good movie, guys, if you want to take a look at it. It's a really good movie about a tracker that goes and, fortunately finds a body of, a teenager and stuff like that, a girl he knows and stuff like that. And then he helps the FBI track down the killers. And it's actually a really good movie. But I was watching, in one part of the movie, I think it was great that I saw this in the movie, is he's picking up his son, and his son was coming downstairs, he had his BB gun, and he's like, "Whoa, where are you pointing your gun? Keep your gun. How we treat a gun?" I don't remember exactly what he said. He's like, "How do we treat a gun?" He's like, "If it's loaded," he's like, "It's always loaded, even if it ain't. So are you pointing at stuff?" No. He's like, "Don't point at anything. You're not gonna shoot it." So I like that they have that in the movie, because when it comes to firearm safety in children, there's a lot of people that just don't know they're aware, but they aren't as aware as they should be when it comes to actual firearm safety. I mean, there has been instances when kids get a hold of guns. There just has. It's like this: if you're away from home, especially if you have boys, and say you have guns and they're not locked up, then those kids are probably trying to play with them and stuff like that if your kids are stuck home. So we're just going to talk a little bit about a couple things when it comes to safety. So what is the number one thing when it comes to gun safety? One, pay attention. Know where your guns are at all times. If they are not physically on your body, lock them up. Always lock them up. Now, some people will say, lock them up unloaded. Shoot, if you want to do it that way, go ahead. Like my rifles, I rarely ever use them unloaded. My shotgun, I keep the breech loaded or the tube loaded just in case it's home defense. I don't keep one in the chamber. My pistols are usually loaded, but I always have a pistol on me one way or the other. I always have one of my pistols on me. My other ones are always locked up in the safe. And the only person that has the key is me. That's it. I have the key. So we know where my guns are at all periods of time, and there's always one on my hip. Now, one thing that kind of bothers me a lot is some people think that the safe place to put a gun would be within arm's reach. You're cooking dinner, arm's reach, safe place. No. Watching TV, boom, safe place. No, that's not a safe place for a gun, all right? The safest place for a firearm is either locked up in a safe or on your body. So instead of having it within arm's reach, it should be attached to your body. You don't want any unauthorized access. I'm a parent of 3 kids. I have a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And I know that simply with a blink of an eye, they could get a hold of something. I don't know how many times with a blink of an eye, my 2-year-old's got a hold of my kid's scissors, because my kids left their scissors out, and they're running around with the scissors. I'm like, whoa, where'd you get the scissors from? You turn your back for a second and that's gone. So this, I don't care what people think, that is not a safe place for your firearm. Within arm's reach is not a safe place for your firearm. The safest place for a firearm is on your body or locked up. Now, the other thing that's important is you need to do this with your kids. You have to have this conversation with your children. You have to. If you have guns in the house, you have to have this conversation with your children, with your family, who's ever in the house. They have to know your firearms. What that means is when I get home from a range, when I get home from the range or when I'm gone shooting, or if I'm going to be cleaning my guns for any reason whatsoever, I will sit my kids down around the table and I'll have all my guns are cleared. I will let them touch them. They are 100% cleared on the table. They are cleared. I've double checked them, triple checked them, make sure they're clear. And I talk to my kids about gun safety. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. Never point a gun at anything you don't intend to shoot. Keep your fingers straight off the trigger until you're ready to fire, and keep the gun unsafe until you intend to fire. And I tell that to them all the time whenever we're on the table. And when they're cleaning me, I'll let them help me clean my guns. I'll let them help me scrub it a little bit or Q-tip a few areas up. And then when I'm done, I'll put them together, I'll clear them, and I'll actually let my kids handle my firearms. And some people are like, oh my God, how dare you do that to kids? Guns are evil, evil things that are just gonna go off. No, they aren't. And the biggest thing when it comes to kids, what leads to gun accidents is 1, negligence of the father or the mother, and 2, curiosity. Curiosity is a big deal when it comes to kids. I mean, how many movies or TV shows or their friends are pew pew, you know, stuff like that. They see a gun and it's a cool thing that they got to play with. You know, it's a cool thing they got to pull out and take a look at and all that other stuff. It's a cool thing that they got to play with. So they're going to want to touch it. They're going to want to handle it, especially with boys. They're going to want to touch it. They're going to want to try it out. Now, another cure for this too, or another helper for this too here. This BB gun, all right? Little Daisy BB gun. I take my kids out shooting with it, all right? I let them have fun with it. I'll take them out in a safe direction, have a good backdrop, and I'll teach them fire safety rules, and or the firearm safety rules, and I'll teach them how to shoot it. I'll teach them what to shoot at. I'll teach them, you know, I'll tell them targets. I'll be talking about gun safety the entire time I'm doing this. And I'll tell them what guns can do, all right? If you accidentally point a gun at something and you pull the trigger, it's gonna kill it. And I'll be visual. You know, some people are like, what? Say if you hit a deer, it's going to put a hole in their side. They're going to bleed a lot, and then they're going to sit there and they're going to die. And my kids, that kind of resonates with them, and they're like, oh no, we don't want to do that. And it gets into their head, and it teaches them from an early age that guns are not toys. All right, guns are tools. Guns are not toys. They're tools, and they can cause them death or serious bodily harm. So that's another big thing that comes to that. That goes with the curiosity part. The next step we're going to talk about, which I think is another very important step, is, you know, you familiarize your children with your firearms, right? You've talked about firearm safety. You've told them what the capabilities of different firearms are. You don't have to use visuals. Some hunters will actually take their kids out and have them shoot a deer or something like that, so they get a feel for what's going on. But the next thing that you want to teach is what happens if you ever do see a gun. You know, most people don't leave their guns out, but there are some people that are negligent. And, you know, first of all, if you're negligent, you have children. I personally don't think you should be a firearm owner. I don't think so if you're going to be that negligent. So don't be freaking stupid. Don't be negligent. Don't leave your guns out where your kids can get a hold of them. Now, the next part that I want to talk about too is the next step. So you familiarize your children with your firearms. They know there's firearms in the house. You've talked to them about firearm safety. You've taken them out with like BB guns or whatever it is. You know, another good thing too is like the squirt guns right here. Is I teach them trigger discipline, and you know, I never point at anything you don't intend to shoot type of thing. And I'll actually teach them that like when they're in the bathtub or something like that. Now when they're having like squirt guns fights, then yeah, whatever. You know, let them have their squirt gun fights. But if we're not playing, having a squirt gun fight, do we keep which way do we point it? You know, do we put your finger on this, or you keep your finger up here? You know, I do that stuff, so I'm trying to get into their head to try to do that. But you've gone through all this firearm safety stuff. You've talked about your firearms. You had your children get familiar with firearms. You know, even squirt guns, rat weight, and stuff like that. So now, what happens if, say, they're at a friend's house and a parent leaves a gun out? Or what happens if they're at a schoolyard or out playing with their friends somewhere in the woods or whatever it is, how old they are, and they see a gun? What do you tell them then? You know, it's actually pretty simple. So, and you usually teach this from young, so you kind of drill into their head, and that is, stop, don't touch, run away, and tell a parent, is what you always tell it. That's what you always do, tell a parent or adult. You tell them all the time, and you say it to them a lot. You know, every time I'm cleaning my gun, I talk about this with my kids. I talk about what you do if you come across a gun. And I just do, you know, it's important to actually drill this stuff into your kids. Like I said, most accidents, child accidents when it comes to gun tragedies, so we'll call it child tragedies when it comes to negligent firearms owners, is that they're negligent firearm owners. That they aren't really paying attention. They don't really care. You know, they have the guns where the kids can get to them. They aren't locked up. They're not on their body. Or they think stuff like, that's okay. You know, it's not. None of this is okay. You know, you can't just put it in a drawer if you have little kids running around the house, or a middle kid. Kids in general run around the house. You have to lock it up, or it's got to be on your body at all times. Now, like I said, this is definitely an important topic, especially for new gun owners out there. And I think it's really a big deal that you should need to practice this. You have to practice this, especially with kids, or if you're planning on having kids. You have to get yourself some means to actually lock up your firearms. Now, I didn't have a safe for the longest time, so what I would do is I had a closet, and it was an old apartment that I was in. So what I would do is I'd lock the door. I actually had a gate lock that I put on, and I hooked up a padlock and I completely locked the door, and my firearms were a place where they could not get them whatsoever. And it was a combination lock. The only person that knew the combination was me. That was it. It prevented unauthorized access to my firearms. So if you don't currently have a safe, you can do something as simple as that. But I would highly recommend you get yourself some sort of safe, okay? This is just simple Cabela's safe, all right? You know, it works. There's a lot of safe makers out there. Go out, get yourself a safe if you're not going to be carrying your gun on you at all periods of time. Don't leave your gun laying around, okay? Just don't, you know. Within arm's reach, once again, is not a safe place for a firearm. It isn't. I don't care, you know, what the home is like. If you're sitting down watching TV and you're uncomfortable with your gun on your hip, you can't just put it on a table. You just can't do that. You have to lock it up if it's not going to be on your body. All right, it is what it is. You have to lock it up if it's not going to be on your body. Now, when it comes to it, at the end of the day, the safest place for a firearm is on your body at all periods of time, because the only person that have access to it is you. That's it. But if you are not carrying the firearm, it has to be locked up, especially with kids around, with anyone around. It needs to be locked up. Now, I'm going to leave it at that for the most part, guys, because this is, you know, I don't want to, you know, beat a dead horse there, but it's very important when it comes to children and child safety when it comes to firearms. So we'll just cover the very basics again. First things first, expose them to firearms, okay? Expose them to firearms. Let them take part in firearms, whether it's cleaning, stuff like that. Get a BB gun, let them take it out, shoot. Step 2, talk about safety of firearms all the time, especially if they have like toys and stuff like that. Teach the firearm fundamentals, teach the safety. Even simple like a squirt gun, you know, people think, well, that's so stupid, it's a squirt gun. Yeah, but it sinks in, and it does help sink in. Step 3, if they find a gun, what are they supposed to do? Stop. Don't touch, run away, and tell a parent or adult. That's the other thing, and that's important. And the most important one of all time is freaking negligence. Don't be an asshole. Don't be a freaking idiot. Lock your damn guns up or have it on your body. That is it. Do not allow unauthorized access to your firearms, okay? So I'm going to throw it out there because this does happen. All right, unfortunately, it does happen. And as gun owners, as responsible, law-abiding gun owners, we need to take that consideration, because at the end of the day, can you live with yourself if something ever happened because you had negligence with your firearms and then you had to bury one of your children? There you have it, guys. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about me. Let's help expand this channel, guys. Once again, once we get to 5,000 subscribers, we're going to have a holster giveaway. So, you know, help share this channel. Share the safety. This is an important message. It's a really important message to people. Anyway, guys, it's our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other, especially our children. Peace.